it is the most important, is that you find your own voice, let's call it like a commonplace, but it is, because we are all unique, and there's no point trying to imitate or play like someone else, because that will never work. My name is Susana Santos Silva. I'm a trumpet player, improviser, composer, sometimes. I'm from Porto, Portugal, and currently I'm based in Stockholm, in Sweden. I play mainly improvised music. That's the main core of my the concerts I play. And I have several ongoing projects. Right now, well, right now there's nothing. No, right now, for a year now, this is very weird times. But I have two bands that I lead. A band called Life and Other Transient Storms, apropos the times that we are living, and that's with Scandinavian musicians. Lotta Anker, that is also here on saxophone and saxophones, and Sten Sandell on piano, Torbjörn Zetterberg on bass, and Jon Felt on drums. And then I have a band called Impermanence, that it's a band that it's like based in Porto, kind of with musicians from there, plus Torbjörn Zetterberg on bass. And this band plays mainly music that I write. Then I have duos with Kaja Draksler, piano player from Slovenia, and duo with Torbjörn Zetterberg, a trio with an organ player named Hampus Lindwall, and also Torbjörn Zetterberg on bass. What else? There's a quartet named Hearth, with Kaja Draksler on piano, Mette Rasmussen saxophone, and Ada Rav also on tenor saxophone. Many other things. I play with other bands also, and mainly that's what I've been doing. I do a lot of like people invite me to play, you know, like a guest with other projects. And now I've been actually been very interested in electroacoustic music. So I'm actually starting a program, master program in Stockholm in electroacoustic composition. So I'm really looking forward to like develop that part of my musicianship, let's say. I studied classical first, so I did the whole studies in classical trumpet. That was, I mean, it was. I'm very glad I did it because it brought me a lot of stuff. Because trumpet is a very difficult instrument, I think, and that's why there's not so many trumpet players, I guess, compared with other instruments. So it gave me really like a ground where I could develop other things. But it was so good that I had that education, I think, in the instrument, so I can have the control I need to when now I play like improvised music, for instance. That was hard, but I appreciate it now that I did it. Then I moved on. I did the jazz course in the same school in Porto. It was always a little bit hard for me, the education, actually, I went through. I always felt a little bit imprisoned and not very inspired all the time by the kind of education that existed in the school. I also did my master in jazz performance at Codarts in Rotterdam. I also never felt very inspired and like integrated somehow for some reason. And I really think that things like this, like the platform, it's super important. And because most of all, I think this inspiration, it's really needed, because it's from there that people have get the energy to actually work and develop and be curious about what's going on, the music, to find their own path. And that inspiration, I think it's really super important. And something like this, where you can meet so many people and share experiences and play music with and check out how other people think and see music, that it's super inspiring and needed, I think, within the education. Not so much, actually. I was always a little bit late and out of place, let's say, because before I did my classical studies, I was actually in engineering for a while, something completely different. I had one experience, but that was a little bit later, when I was already starting my professional life, let's call it. So I was already done with my studies and still a little bit searching for what I really wanted to do, because I was still a little bit lost, to be honest. And I did this workshop, but this was a very I think it was one day or something, not like a big stretch of time like this is, but maybe it was one day or something. I did a workshop with Fred Frith, with whom now I play quite often. And at the time, and Mark Draksler, and all of a sudden it was a whole different world that opened up, and that was actually very important for me. And it was this very free setup that we would just play, and there was some some inputs from them, some sign language, and very open, and that was really inspiring. Back to inspiration, and because all of a sudden I felt a little bit at home, but wait a minute, that's what I actually want to do. This is it was a little bit like getting home after so many years of studies and feeling a little bit lost. So that was actually super important and dictated a little bit how I moved on from there. And later on, he invited me to play with him, and it was really fantastic. I was all of a sudden I felt so free and so acceptant of what I could or not, that what I could do and what I couldn't do, and believing that that was the way, and I could actually follow my my instincts and just go for it. Like I said, I think it's just this pool of different different experiences from the musicians that they encounter, because everyone has like a unique way of expressing themselves, and also like unique ways of seeing the music and how they see everything, and to get exposed to that. I think it can be very open. It can open the minds of the students that are, but also like being able to share that with other students, and to share. It's all about sharing and get inspiration to keep on going, to to search for their own way. So what we are doing, as I play a lot of improvised music. So I tried just to make everyone like find themselves within the group. So we did exercises, different kind of exercises to get that group playing happening, in a very natural and organic way. Like exploring all the possibilities within the group, what you can do, how can things work, and so on. And then, because nobody brought music of their own, which I was wishing that would happen, so we are like we start looking into some of the music that I brought. Some things more structured, other things less structured, and just find our way through the music, because it's the most important is that they make it their own. So we don't play my music, but that it's like the ensemble finds a way of dealing with that music and making it their own. I also brought some like graphic score just to so they get a little bit more input and explore more possibilities of working within the ensemble. But yeah, so far that's what we have been doing, and now we have to find a way of filtering that music through the group to be able to present it to the public in a couple of days. I think for me, because it was so important for me, and I think it is the most important, is that you find your own voice, let's call it like a commonplace, but it is, because we are all unique, and there's no point trying to imitate or play like someone else, because that will never work. It's impossible. No one can play like Coltrane. It's impossible. And so our best strength, it's really to be ourselves, because we are all unique and nobody can play like me. For the better or the worse, it's impossible. And so that is, I think, the most important, that you try to understand. Of course, it's extremely important that you listen to all these great masters, that you drink as much as possible from what they have to give, but then you just have to filter all that and really discover within yourself, who are you, and what do you want to give back to the world. You filter it through your own experiences, everything you listen and see and do whatever. So that's it, like believing that the best you can do, it's to be yourself. And I think that's the best advice I can give you, or give them.